GOG, so it's like, you know, he's ranking Dyrachyo rank B, but also like he's kind of close to like our, you know, Western European streamer level for rank on MMR. Like, gotta be careful. These tier lists, they catch up to you when they're, you know.
They might. We'll see if today is the day, because as I said, it was Extreme Gaming that had a 2-0 against Heroic earlier. Gaming had a 2-0 against 1W earlier today as well, so both teams coming hot off a 2-0. And we're in the draft, so we got Extreme on the Radiant side, Gaming on the Dire side. First pick anytime now on the side of Gaming Gladiators. And the T is there too, so everything's complete. A stress ball as well. Celery is prepared. I feel like we've talked a lot about the team as a whole, but I want to focus a little bit more about the players, because we mentioned Ace and his playstyle. I want to mention XXS.
I love to talk about my boy XXS. This guy, I think he's been consistent in the last 2 years, pretty much being top 3 offlaner in the world, without a doubt, especially some of his specialty heroes that he likes to play. I know there's a lot of good Mars players out there, but he's definitely up there. Centaur, when there was a Dark Willow plus a Centaur combo, where Dark Willow could use ulti on a Centaur, they've been dominating his Slaughter. But if we look at the heroes that he has been playing recently, you know, especially in the pub, something that he's been training is Visage. He has 80% win rate, Bristleback, something that he brought out as well, and of course Sanking. But this guy, I feel like he has one of the best overall team fight decisions. I feel like he sees every single hero, what's happening on the map.
I feel like this might be, I don't know if it is a hot take or not, but I think offlane used to be obviously a very difficult role. Nowadays, I think the entry level to be an offlaner is easier. Therefore, to shine, you actually really need to be good. And I think like offlaners like XSS, 33, Collapse, right? They showcase how far you can take the role. Whilst, you know, some other players, you know, they kind of, they're average. But I think, yeah, for example, XSS is one of those that he's taken what an offlane needs to be and just shown like the true heights you can take. It's more than just auras.
That is very true, actually, because I would say that XXS is an offlaner in the true sense of the word, when offlaner used to mean hard roll. You get no farm, you're suffering the entire game. I mean, when you're on a team with Zenku as your position 4 and Ame as your carry, and now XM on mid, and all of these people want to siphon all of the farm on a map, you have to find ways to create a game for yourself, to create farm on the map for yourself, and XXS does that so well, and that's probably one of the most impressive things about him, is that he does so much on the map with so little net worth sometimes.
Yeah, XM is another mid laner that has not attended an international yet, so this is his first performance on this grand of the stage.
And whenever we talk about XM, this might be his hero, this sniper, something that has been, like, I think in the first 6 months of the year, I've seen the stats about his hero pool. Like, he, across all other teams, his hero was picked last across every other team. So they are giving him the priority, but overall sniper, this is his hero. I remember one of the Dream League season 20X, because I can't remember which one, they were just banning out Sniper. He had 100% win rate out of 8 games, and he did not see Sniper after all.
I mean, it pairs well with the logic of having, you know, like a melee carry paired with the Mars Beastmaster style offlane. Like, if you have that kind of recipe, then putting your mid laner on like the high damage, hard to gank hero, like it does make sense. And we are kind of following that formula just a little bit, right? Timbersaw down to your offlane. They have last pick overall in the draft, so I'd like to see them flex it. And if this is a sniper timber lane, yeah, we've seen how potent sniper can be. Like, all you need to do in that lane is you push it out once, get your offlane to like level 3, make some stacks, run around, secure runes, and like your game like begins. Like, it's a very kind of orchestrated hero for the 4 role.
5 seconds remaining.
It's also one of the few teams that you'll see Viper be banned out against every time, as XM also really likes that hero. We saw him play it earlier today as well.
So much respect towards the offlane. Like, one side was like quite offlane bans, right? You got, you know, Doom, Viper, Sanking, Flexes, and then on the other side extreme, they're respecting Salary immensely, right? The Chen, the Enchantress, the play from your supports and open up the game.
Yeah, the thing about XM also that I just want to, before we talk about the draft a little bit more, is that, like Lacoste mentioned, he'll get last pick mid, but that's when his hero pool is taken out. When it's in a meta where XM's heroes can be first picked, they'll always be first picked, which gives the team a big draft advantage. Like, they'll easily first pick Sniper, and it's a flex hero now, which makes it even more valuable. They'll first pick the Viper if they need to, because that hero is on the rise in pro pubs recently. They'll first pick the SF a lot too, which will flex between mid and carry. So that's another first pick hero that teams have to be aware of when they're playing versus XG.
And something that we did mention, Gaming Gladiators, what they like, speed. They like to speed things up. IO Razor, these are the heroes that come online super fast. They're also the team that likes to stack in the triangle with Shadow Demon and IO, so you can easily clear that. Right now, what they're lacking is some kind of a disable, some kind of a control, which they're going to get from either offlane or their mid lane. Because, I mean, Razor can still be flexed, you know, to a mid lane, but most likely going to be in the safe lane.
Yeah, I'd like to see this just as like the safe lane pairing. Your IO Razor is self-sufficient. Your SD moving around the map. If you find a hero, you can disrupt one guy. You can then ultimately another guy, and you kind of have two heroes contained to enable the relocate to feel good. So in regards to like map play, these three are your foundation. And now, yeah, like Lacoste mentioning, just get a initiator from your mid or some tempo, get a stun from your off lane, and then that is kind of the recipe for quite a nice looking draft.
And not just that, the stack factor with having an SD on your team and then an IO pairing from the carry lane. Like your Shadow Demon, not only is he going to make the stacks and rotate to mid and set up for kills, like T mentioned, with disrupt and to relocate, but he's going to be making fat stacks that the IO Razor are going to take later, hit an earlier item timing, and try to run the map over. The one thing about IO, though, is that, you know, Holy Locket did get nerfed. Mech did get nerfed, but are these nerfs enough to stop the power of IO? We'll have to see.
Nope.
It's DI time. IO is always going to be back.
IO's back.
When I read that, I'm like, it's a nerf, but it's like kind of the nerf where I see like in 3 patches time, like this was like the first domino to fall for us to really say auras were nerfed. And Extreme, they look at this like the pace, like everything we just said, right? Gaming want to win like some 25-30 minute game where they might not kill the Ancient, but like you can feel that they built this lead. And now against Extreme, it's like if they don't do that, how do they win the team fight going 30 minutes plus into the Chrono, if he goes for Chrono, who of course he could still go for Time Zone, but you know, into the ultimate of Void, whatever facet he goes for, the Egg, the Timbersaw with multiple auras and Hex. Like there is a window where Extreme of course scale, but punishable, very punishable.
I have a question. T, from a coach perspective, you coached at TI before. We know this group stage is relatively short. There's only 4 teams in one group. Both teams so far in this draft have not, like they've played 2 games before, but they've not played any of these heroes that they pick now in any of their previous 2 games. How much value does it give in order to just, you know, keep them guessing? Never let them know your next move.
It's kind of like your playbook will have, let's say, 4 or 5 openings, and then from there you kind of expand. So I feel like right now we still are in the comfort of the teams. I think if we were entertaining like the 7th, the 8th opening, they're often the teams that are coming in last place because they're panicking to find what they are. And I think right now we're still in kind of the comfort
This is still the 3rd opening.
Yeah, we're still like we're in like realistic mode. Like when you look at any TI group stage, the people that have the most, you know, varied drafts are the ones that are often struggling. But this group stage was also quite small, so we might not see that too much. Like
it's not a stun.
Struggle in
this is not a stun.
They have a root though.
Yeah, it's a root. It's a fear. It's a lot of control. It's a lot of tempo that's gonna come out. And what they want to do, they have 0 cooldown whatsoever on their abilities, so they want to run. If they can survive this Chronosphere, they also picked Faceless Void into IO, which can be tricky sometimes. I'm not worried for their damage inside a Chrono by any means. It's just that if they're not getting the kills out of that one, or if you use the buyback, that's gonna get punished. You have Supernova, you have Faceless Void, Time Zone / Chronosphere, so you will always have these long cooldowns, which is very punishable.
This is a large issue for Extreme now because you won't shut down Lone Druid in lane. Like a Phoenix plus Void will not stop Lone Druid from farming and pressuring the map. IO Razor, the eye should keep the sustainability, so Shrapnel Nuisance isn't as annoying. Timber can't threaten that. So yeah, I think right now, the first 25 minutes of this game, it should be all the way gaming. Like Extreme to fix this, they need to get probably the mid lane to open up the game.
Yeah, I'm looking for 2 heroes. One of them is going to be Spicy. That's going to be for Gaming Gladiators. Ricky. The other that is more stable, I would say, is Puck, because they have pretty much nothing, and they also have Shadow Demon plus the IO save, so the Chronosphere damage might be a little bit tricky, because what they want to do, if you have a leash mechanic or if you have Cloud against any of these heroes, they're going to really suffer.
I want Kunkka.
Kunkka's a cheap one.
Yeah, I like that. But they go for Storm. Storm is the hero that also you could argue Extreme could have got themselves. You know, kill the IO, the SD, defeat the saves, and then you give Gaming like they take one bad tower fight and suddenly the game falls apart. But that's also a thing that Gaming need to think about. Like if they try and take a tier 2 tower and fail, do it again, fail, that's suddenly when the BKB is online for the Void and the game becomes a lot more Extreme favored. Yeah.
They needed the Storm to address the sniper flex, because when you see XG, you see XM, you're like mid-sniper. Storm is typically his counter at level 6. Also, they didn't have a hero that necessarily started the fight for them on GG. They have a lot of run down a lane, barrel at you heroes with LD, IO Razor, but nothing that really goes in first. So they did that with the Storm. And the Visage comes out for Extreme Gaming. Lacoste waved his finger, so...
Not for that one.
Oh.
They do have the birds, not sure which bird Visages. We have, what's his name, Moltons, the legendary Pokemon bird, the fire one. And we were missing Winter Wyvern, but the thing that I wanted to point out is that Jin Q is going to be playing Timbersaw position 4. This is the new tech. I don't know if you've seen it. It works really well. The hero still going to be buying these aura items, and you're trading really well in the lane. You have this explosive damage, which gives Visage Soul Assumption, so the charges are going to be there, and people are going to explode. These are the heroes that can trade against IO plus Razor.
I like the idea of the shift, because against Lone Druid or any siege, you want to mirror that siege. So rather than defending the objective in the early game, you're just trading objectives, which actually allows you to get to your timings to hit that one fight. So I think strategically, great idea to deal with the Lone Druid. They just need to execute on it, because late game, I like Extreme, but can they get there? That's kind of like they're going to be the looming question.
I like that conceptually as well, because when you look at Razor lanes, you want to be able to burst him through Static Link, and Visage with the Soul Assumption is just a ridiculous amount of damage. It's a way for them to be able to trade into Razor, which is going to be very important, because actually you need to get out of lanes with as much as they can. But the thing about GG's draft is I do feel like they've made it a bit one-dimensional with that Lone Druid pick from the offlane, not having that reliable initiation from the offlane. When it gets to late game, that can really bite you in the butt. You know, like, because you're looking for these fights. If you're only dependent on your Storm and your Lone Druid can't make the jump when he needs to, your enemies naturally have a better advantage when it comes to team fighting.
The story for this draft is pretty much GG, they win in 25-30 minutes. If it goes late, Extreme Gaming, they take it.
Okay, and we know that GG generally is pretty good in the laning stage. Can they do it here in game 1 of this 2-game series against Extreme? We're finding out together with B-Cup and Lizard.
Thank you very much. Coming into a very big series here, Gaming Gladiators against Extreme Lizard. It's Xingqiu on the Timber in the 4 position, something he played twice during the Snow Rui event, and it's a 4 position that he likes going Guardian Greaves on. Is it something that is going to be make or break here for Extreme?
I don't think it's make or break. It's just a high damage dealing position 4. Like, you can look at it that way. I think they have 2 heroes that do that on 4 and on 5. A lot of tips from the get-go. DY, of course, on his signature Phoenix. And we have a pretty stock standard draft if you replace Timbersaw with anything else on that position 4, right? Like, if you think of anything else on that position 4 that's like a task or something, you have a standard draft on Extreme Gaming. While on the other side, they're cooking something up. Like, this is Gaming Gladiators with some... We want to go back to the days of Broodmother and just take over the map minute 20, right? Like, you have the Storm Spirit to jump the backlines, you have Lone Druid and Razor, usually lane dominators. We'll see if they succeed at that, because they also have a lot of saves. They have this pump from the Wisp to pump up the mana and heal the Storm Spirit, make him even more difficult to deal with. While there is one thing though, Timber and Visage is a scary combo because of hurling that and how it deals damage and how much damage, and also stat loss. Like, you get that stat loss, and then on top of that you get Soul Assumption when your stats are lost, like you have less HP. So it's a scary lane if that's how they decide to lane it.
So 2 bounty runes apiece, and we'll take a look at how the lanes end up being. And this is Ace on that Lone Druid, something he's pretty proficient with, something that I know there are some Lone Druid fans that are excited to see this hero, especially when he's on the big stage at TI.
No, for sure. Like, he's a micro player. Like, I still remember him a long time ago when he came into the scene, played for Fnatic. Like, he actually played some Meepo back then as well. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. One thing that is definitely difficult for them is catch. Like, besides Storm Spirit, you don't really have any. Like, you can't really rely on Lone Druid, so heroes such as Faceless Void love playing into that. Like, it's easy to maneuver, it's easy to get away. But then again, the other side, it's not like they have an abundance of the same thing. They have this Chrono and Stormform perhaps, and that's it.
Well, I actually took Time Zone on Ame.
Time Zone, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a time zone player.
I'm down.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. Especially when you're a Phoenix, you know, you pop that egg into the time zone. Ooh. And like no hits are coming and you're like, yeah, that's nice, I'm living. And then time zone ends and all those hits collapse at the same time and you're just done. That's when you ping it. That's when you ping it and you're like, bro, come on.
This could have been Chrono, what the hell?
This could have been the best combo in the game, basically.
Speaking of offlaners, XXS top here with ZinQ on the Timber Saw Visage Timber combo. Not something we've seen so often, but you know, you talked about Ace starting his career with Fnatic, and XXS started his career just 16 years old with DK Scudiera, and he's only 25 now. He has been in the pro scene for what seems to be forever.
Yeah, blast from the past with B-Cop. Like, you definitely know all these Chinese teams and where exactly every player started. I remember XXS from Kyiv Minor, I think, like, or Major. Was it Kyiv Major? I think that's where he's like, that's where he came in, like, with 17 years old and dominated. What was it, like Legion and Centaur? I don't know. Yeah. There's like some moments in this game that just you can always remember that thing.
Do last forever. It just feels like some players will never be forgotten, whether or not they're retired or still active, that's for sure. And how they came into the scene. You think about MLG Columbus with Arteezy when he got his moment there. Like, that's a forever moment for sure.
You are my forever moment, Vico.
You're my forever moment.
By the way, this top lane is... okay, bot lane, they're fine. Kind of trading it, Laundry doing well. The top lane is doing much better than I expected for GG. Like, if you remember the last game on Visage, like 33 just completely destroyed them in the first couple of minutes. This has been already 3-4 lanes, 3-4 waves, and Visage isn't really dominating that hard. And also keep in mind that raindrops are about to come in. Like, usually if you're playing this hero, you want to get a kill or two before the raindrops, and they didn't manage to do that.
So we'll see how much that affects the lane, how much that affects the game moving forward, especially for XXS. If we see raindrops come out and pressure being put on by Gaming Gladiators, because, you know, the panel talked about it, it's usually the early game and that early mid-game that Gaming Gladiators work well with, so it'll be interesting to see how these first 10 minutes or so, first 15 minutes especially for Gaming Gladiators kind of come down, and if Extreme can bear with the pressure that'll be put on. But things very quiet.
Yeah, so far 0 kills, nothing really happening. I think you're happy with this if you're Gaming Gladiators. Like, the lanes are looking a little bit rough when it starts, and then when you ramp up, when you get some items, you are the team that should be able to force some fights early on. However, at the moment, you're happy with the status quo.
Static Link out there, as this is a problem for XXS, who's trying to run, but finally, Dyrachyo gets first blood, and it's going to be through onto this Visage. So, you talked about it. Raindrops come in, they get that kill. Dyrachyo might die to ZinQ, but they got a kill on a Tofu. DY gets that. ZinQ tries to Timber Chain away. He doesn't have a lot of mana, but does have 2 mangoes, so he'll turn around looking over at the Razor once again. The Visage coming back into play, and they will lose this Timber, and they still don't get the kill onto the Razor.
Yeah, he used the Soul Assumption way too fast. He just instantly casted it, but yeah, just not enough of stacks on it. Also, keep in mind, he didn't go for Grave Chill this lane. I feel like that could have been useful versus Dyrachyo earlier on. But this is a problem. Like, you got to the stage where they have raindrops. Yeah, sure, you can go on them. Maybe on Celery here, but he's just gonna tether away. So, another issue that you have is Visage here, too many heals. Like, the IO heals a lot, and because of that, like, you aren't able to zone Dyrachyo out. He just chills in the lane and keeps on farming.
definitely troublesome for this top lane, and they aren't getting these kills and this aggression that they would have liked. So, gotta think that maybe some of the idea is to just farm and maybe hope for, say, Ame to come over, because he is one of those carries that hits level 6 and he's ready to go.
Ace
He plays aggressive, and Ace almost giving up a lot of gold. They're actually turning around on Ame for a second. They've also got a TY in trouble, and he will fall to Ace thanks to that disruption thrown out by Tofu. So a little bit of revenge there for the side of Game and down bottom.
Yeah, they used the dive aggressively, and Tofu, he rotates back, catches the Phoenix. Nicely done by him. I love this promulgate and facet on Shadow Demon. It's pretty damn good. Like, overall, Shadow Demon for me is one of the stronger heroes at the moment, especially because he's very good versus some of these cores and supports that are being played. Like, you're good versus Wind Ranger, you're also pretty damn good versus Omni Knight. I'd like to see a bit more of SD. Plus his laning stage has just been buffed up super hard.
Static Link again onto the Visage. Braccio not afraid to chase pretty close to the tier 1 tower. There is a TP over from XM, doesn't have a lot of mana to work with, but does have 16 wand charges. They are going to get aggressive here. But how much does XM even get out of this? He TP'd into this top lane, and he's not getting anything.
Yeah, they have a lane ward as well.
The sentry's not going to see that.
Unfortunate, but very well played by Gaming Gladiators so far. The lane has been really damn good for them. Like, this is the best you can imagine when you're playing versus Visage. Like, you haven't lost the lane, and you pressured him, you killed him. Not something that usually happens.
You start to worry about how much Visage is going to get out of this game, right? Because those early soul assumption kills are the jumping off point.
Oh, yes and no. Like, he still has a lot of comeback potential in the lane.
Mid lane there here, disruption used by Tofu, but Xingqiu will show up.
So basically, back in the day that would be the case, but because of that...
Braccio. Do they dive this under the tier 1 tower? TP comes in from Ame. Is he going to commit? He will. He's not level 6. But will...
I think he just gave up on bottom lane. Just look at his CS.
He's got nothing in terms of farm.
Basically what he's saying is, XXS, I don't know what you do, bro, but this is my lane now. Like, you need to go away. This bear destroyed me on bottom lane, so yeah, I don't wanna... It's not a fun lane.
Feels pretty bad.
Yeah, but this is what Gaming Gladiators really aimed for. They survived the first couple of waves, and then their heroes with levels, just levels, nothing more, become extremely difficult to deal with. I feel like for XG right now, we're waiting for Chrono Egg or Time Zone Egg combo. Something like that, because they're not winning any fights if they don't have that combo.
Which, scary thing to say, but level 6 is going to come out for the same time for those heroes. Both the Phoenix and the Void are pretty similar experience at the moment.
Yeah. The question is it a really good support, or is it
yeah,
bad game for everyone?
Well, with 30 plus denies for Ace, I'm leaning towards the latter, not
41. Give that
now
man,
41.
Yeah, give that man the proper number. 41 denies on this offlane lone druid with bare necessities. Like, I actually
really is that simple.
I had a couple of games with this facet, and the lone druid went for you know, the sniper build, the range build on like, your lone druid is the main damage dealer. The bear is just there. He's a nuisance. He's hitting everyone. He's giving you the heals, and that's it. Like, this can be really strong.
Dire are scanning.
Ring there for Visage, who now has these familiars going into the Rod of Atos first.
Yeah, that's the... We don't have any stuns, I need to buy Atos. You know, that's the feel right now.
Xingqiu in some trouble. Quinn going for this kill on a level 5 Timber and will finish him off. Quinn feeling the lack of lockdown that Extreme are working with here and able to just make an easy one. And he's also going into that Orchid, so we've seen earlier today, Bloodthorns be pretty brutal. Orchid is pretty rough when there is no lockdown. You're kind of shutting something down.
It's just a fantastic Storm game.
Yeah.
Like you have so many heroes that you want to jump with that Orchid. Rushing it really makes a lot of sense. Like you want to kill off the Void before he manages to time walk away. Phoenix before he dives out. Even Timber with an Orchid, this is a position 4 Timber, you will be able to solo him, so makes sense overall.
The lack of lockdown, you know, XM is getting these towers. He is keeping them close in the game, getting them objectives here and there. But when you get this Orchid on the Storm, and there's not really much to lock down this Storm at all, XM's going to be pretty vulnerable throughout the entirety of the game.
Yeah, pretty much. There is the Faceless Void to maybe save you a little bit.
Yeah.
Ame.
But it ain't that easy.
He's been carrying this tier 1 token for a while, by the way. On Faceless Void. Just not using it.
He's probably got bad options, but ends up going to the Royal Jelly. Not the worst, honestly. But giving it some thought. I will say the one thing I do want is just to see what options every hero has on their tokens.
Like when you spectate, or?
Yes, when you spectate, you can see what their options are.
I want to see my teammates' options so I can play them.
I figured maybe that was what you were thinking.
What do you mean you took the balloon?
You surely you had something else.
I mean, in that particular case, anything else is better. So.
Deep ward placed here by Tofu, getting some vision deep in the jungle.
Smoke up.
They see this sniper again. The shrapnel is down. Is the help there? They've got this relocate in. They'll get the kill on XM. They're going to look over at Doraccio, though. Do they have the damage? The Icarus dive through from DY. He does have Supernova, the disruption. There's the Supernova. And they get the kill to Doraccio. They're going to try and get this egg. Can they get it? The familiar stuns. Now the Supernova goes off. The Soul Assumption kill. Tofu's gone. Ame's coming through. He's got the time dilation. He does have time zone. They got the kill to Quinn. Zincu's going to be the one who gets credit for that, as Ace is going to try and fight this Faceless Void. But everybody's here for the side of Extreme Gaming that is alive, and a triple kill for XXS. And Gaming Gladiators playing aggressive, but it bites them so hard in the bum.
Yeah,
they will lose 4.
That's 1,000 gold for XXS as well. This hero, if he wins fights, he gains so much out of them. By the way, that egg couldn't have been better. Like, in some situations, that egg, because he used all the Fire Spirits, but he didn't want to egg immediately, so he waited a little bit. Fire Spirits actually ran out on most heroes. And that egg usually is kind of bad. Level 1 egg versus so many heroes, but 2 heroes get relocated out, 1 hero is missing the hits, and Lone Druid is too late to the party, so he's actually not really doing anything. So the egg completely changes the fight. Nicely done by DY. By the way, I just have to say this hero is, before the nerf, the last nerf, this hero was absolutely broken. Right now, Phoenix, yeah, he's solid. He's still good.
You were playing it a lot.
I had like a 90% win rate out of 50 games. Like, he was something else.
Damn. You double downing on all those wins?
Of course.
Gotta get that MMR. With a 90% win rate, oh my gosh. Going into the Veil on DY, and that was a lot of help there in that fight too for XXS, not only for the net worth, but with those familiars to make sure that that Supernova got off and gave them that opportunity. He's got his Vlad, he's got the Rod of Atos, and now he's sitting 4th in net worth, so in a really good spot.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how this game would look, and how that fight would look if they didn't have such a bad start, but...
Yeah, definitely something to think about, but also at the same time now, we had said earlier in the game, the first 15 minutes are where Gaming is trying to really shine, but we're at that 15-minute mark. It's only a 1,000 net worth lead. It's only a 5-5 on the kill score. I'm a little bit worried that now Extreme have kind of made their time. Obviously, there's still more to be had here for Gaming Gladiators, but you're seeing it here with the side of Extreme being aggressive, the immediate TP out for Doraccio. And Celery is dead. XXS now dominating.
Yeah, it was a nice play between on him. Maybe he can save it. In case they go. In case slow down for GG, but it's slowed down for them because they're waiting for crucial items, and those items will come out now. Like you're going to have Gleipnir fully completed on Razor, you're going to have an Orchid now on Storm Spirit, and this is basically the time for them to start things off.
So a little bit of Kale, as is tradition to say Kale. I'm a big fan of it, one of my favorite things, but Celery, I died from lag, unluck.
It's always that, right? It's either mouse or lag.
Then Zinky said no, but he's saying for sure.
Keyboard issues, you know.
Mouse ran out of battery, uh-oh. Yeah. So, we're back in it. Only a split second there of downtime. It was so short, I don't even know if there was downtime.
Isn't it nice that we don't have... I don't want to jinx anything.
Yeah, don't...
Like 10 years ago, 10 plus.
You're treading on thin ice, Lizard. You're gonna jinx it. And I'm not gonna be held responsible.
I'll shut up. I'm just saying, we have it good now. It was way worse back in the day.
That's fair. I'll agree. So, off that little bit of a pause, we did see Celery end up dying. And back to farming they go as XM going for the Gleipnir. And Shard next for the Visage, just 100 gold off of it. Ame wanting that Manta, he's got that early Maelstrom. He's starting to farm up, but he is still very far behind everybody.
Yeah, his job right now is basically time zone, right? Like when you're this far behind as a Faceless Void, your job is to jump in, use your ulti. That's basically it. Unfortunately for him, there are some heroes that don't care about it. Io, Storm, all of these can rescue themselves. On top of that, you have Shadow Demon that you're up against. It does feel that it's easier for gaming gladiators to set things up right now. Like GG can jump in with Storm, Orchid, and then you can relocate on top. But they're just clumped up as 5.
Barbatos, and they've got the familiars for the back-to-back lockdown, but it's not going to be enough to get that kill just yet. There's the Gleipnir finished for XM, and they're going to fight into this, maybe thinking it's still a Radabatos, but it will be a Gleipnir that comes on through. They've got the Supernova. Celery's going to try and hit it once. They're going to get the Electric Vortex on a Zincu. The time zone is down. Quinn is dead. The Supernova pops. They get the gun to Celery. They'll look over at Ace, trying to chase this Timber, but A is not really the valid target. Ame fighting back on Ace's Bear. They'll get the 300 gold. They'll go after the hero. They're going to try and get the Lone Druid. They've got the Assassinate charged up and thrown over onto Tofu. That'll get a kill onto the Shadow Demon. Finishing off Ace. 4 heroes dead. Duraccio gets out, but another big fight for Extreme Gaming.
They're just ready. They're always there. They're moving as 5. Like, surely this can be punished. Like, aren't you supposed to just split the map right now? Like, you have the Lone Druid and stuff. Like, one of the... So, Lone Druid at the moment, the way I feel about the hero is he's strong in some individual pick-offs. Like, if you're skirmishing 2 versus 3 or something like that. If you have these massive 5-on-5 fights, at this stage of the game, he's really weak. He'd rather just be, like, split pushing, doing whatever on his side. And gaming, like, they understand that, but they're still forced to fight. They're still forced by Extreme Gaming. They're going for objectives.
So willing to fight, and so willing for Ame to even want to fight, right? Knowing how far he is behind, but it doesn't scare him off from a fight like that. Knowing that with time zone, the results are possible.
That's the way you need to play. I love seeing a Faceless Void do exactly that. Every time he's got ulti, he joins, he uses it, and then he can go AFK.
Yeah.
There's something that just triggers you when you see a Faceless Void with his ulti just chilling, farming at minute 15.
Yeah, when you're just kind of relaxing, you want to be there with the entire team. 'Cause if you can get a good time zone, a good chrono, you're going to get gold from a good fight. use it to your advantage.
Yeah. And you help your teammates, right? They're the ones that's going to love it. The Ratio trying to solo the Tormentor. Of course, you can do this. Tofu dead.
Tofu very dead. And there it is. Tofu for his death will get the shard, as is Tormentor tradition. I usually try to die in my Tormentors to get shard. It really boosts your drop rate for him.
You can solo Tormentor with Enchantress as well, with a Pike. Try that one. You can get the shard and you can die for it at the same time.
Please don't ruin my pubs.
Oh, it's a good trick. Like, my chat trolled me to do that, and like you just die. You get the shard, but you die from impetus shots. Base.
Does this only work for the first Tormentor, or does this work at all moments?
I think it works for most, because you're so far away. Like, those impetus shots are pure, so they should be taking it down. Anyways, no Enchantress here. She's banned in most of these games.
Zinkyu, I'd said before that he was 2-0 in the Snow-Rui event with this Timber. And one of the things that makes me interested, because we used to see him play like Void Spirit, Ember Spirit, he plays these unconventional fours at times. And it always brings me into the thoughts of like, Zinkyu has played every position in his pro career, from 1 to 5. And I wonder how much of that has made it so he's ready to play these heroes.
He's ready to play the heroes, but it's like PYW and DY were this staple, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you would never see them do what I'm seeing right now. And that's Phoenix is buying a Shivas, he's got a Veil, and Timbersaw is also buying a Shivas, he's got a Veil. Like, I'm not sure, but I don't think that's optimal. Like, on Phoenix at least, you can literally buy any support item in the game. And it would work, so... Doubling down like this is a lot of wasted gold.
Disruption, Ball Lightning, Quinn committing to this, going after him with the Orchid, but they've got the Rotobatos, they have the Icarus dive, Quinn's out of mana, Quinn's out of life.
Damn. Did he expect to relocate? Because that's the only way that makes sense, right?
That's what I would assume he was expecting with Dyrachyo and Celery combined at the hip there. But they didn't end up coming through for him.
They're like, bro, you're on your own.
You're past the tier 1. You're dead, dude.
Not this time. He went in with, like, he literally had no mana once the zip completed.
So 3,000 net worth lead here for Extreme Gaming. And Dota Plus saying 58 to 42%.
That's not too bad, right? Like 60-40. I think that's fair enough.
Wondering on what we can see from gaming here, because it's got to be coordinated for them to get a couple of these kills, and we haven't really seen them take advantage or relocate too heavily, right? Like the fight that they had over by the tier 2 on the Radiant side, they relocated into that, but it wasn't enough. Like, we haven't been seeing those fast movements.
For sure, that relocate even hurt them, because they went back and Egg just survived. There was no one to kill it, so the relocate back actually wasn't that great there. But Celery is a very competent IO player. I'm sure they will find the right ways to use in this game. By the way, Razor Arcane Boots. Just putting it out.
I was looking. I thought of you when I saw them. Going into Sanjanyasha next. He's got to be a little bit careful. I do have some help with Tofu off in the trees, but Tofu might even be the one who ends up getting caught in this position. Assassinate thrown out onto this Shadow Demon. They've got the Familiars trying to catch up. Icarus dive, Sunray. Now the Familiars have caught up. They'll get 1 stun, 2 stuns, and a kill.
And right next to the Rush Pit, right? Like,
yeah.
So unfortunately, it is minute 25 for XG, but they can still go top.
Quinn. Gleipnir, BKB. And there is the time lapse all the way out.
That's basically free rush.
Sorry, the ball lightning. I don't know why I said time lapse.
No, because he time lapsed backwards at the same time. Or whatever, Faceless Void was there. It happens to me as well. But because of that BKB being used, they can go into the pit, take free rush, free Aegis. It's only the first Aegis, it's not the biggest of deals, but all these items are just coming online.
Aegis here, now for Ame. Although Ame gets it with 10,000 net worth as the carry, I want to make a case for Xingqiu. He's got the same net worth.
Or maybe Sniper even, right?
yeah.
He's kind of in the back line, so hard to reach, and Faceless Void might be the one jumping in first. And he's been, yeah, he didn't have the best laning stage, so this is basically making sure the tier recovers.
Stacks being taken by Dyrachyo and Celery. Using that Gleipnir to stack while they were taking this at the 26-minute mark.
Still top of net worth. I guess that's where we're going next, right?
Yeah. Because the farming efficiency has been really good for them, and despite the fact that it's 13-5, it was 5-5, so it's been 8 unanswered kills.
Yeah. I guess it's just much easier for them to play the map. Like, that's something that we discussed earlier. XG is just keeping together at all times. They're just moving as a group. Meanwhile, on gaming, like, you have Storm on one side, Lone Druid on the other, Io and Razor on like completely somewhere else. So it's easier for them to farm items.
Ame going for the Mjolnir. He's got that Manta now. About to pass Quinn in net worth. Quinn's game has not felt like the presence we are so used to feeling with him on this hero.
And we talked about how good of a Storm game this is, but he made a couple of interesting moves, you know? Jumping too far on that Faceless Void was one of the moves.
It's a little bit tough when you don't see a number over the Galvanize icon.
That's the reason, right?
It's not the complete reason, I'm just saying. It's a rough scene. You take that tier 2 over bottom. We continue to play pretty aggressive here, maybe hoping that somebody comes over for the Wisdom Rune at 28 minutes and they can catch a kill. He's actually coming pretty close, so does Quinn. And they do have vision of this. They have this ward right by the steps. They know that Ace and Quinn have just shown up. They were close, but now they're going to go to the ball lightning, go into the backlines. They've got the Orchid on a DY, but they get the kill on a Celery. Now the Orchid, the silence, the kill is in enough. Oh, DY! After the Orchid's able to survive with a sliver of health against the Supernova off. You've got to be kidding me. They can't even kill the Phoenix. They finally get the kill on XXS, but the right clicks onto the bear. XM free to just shoot away. Gleipnir's going to be used. That's on Ace as well as his bear. They get the kill to the bear. They'll take out Lone Druid next. 3 heroes dead on the side of Gaming Gladiators. Just on the edge of that time zone, and he survives. Oh my god.
That was so unfortunate for Gaming Gladiators as well, because they committed on Visage with the other 2 cores, and they didn't manage to even kill him before he used Gravekeeper Smoke. Like, he has this shard, he goes into Stone form, you don't finish him off fast enough, and because of that he re-summons the familiars and then stuns you and just buys enough time for XM and Ame to clean up house.
How much health was on DY when he got the egg off?
It wasn't looking great. Like he's supposed to die.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, you know what usually saves you in that situation? Buying a Lotus instead of second Shivas. That's who can blame him at this point? It's just they're winning this game at the moment, at least, very convincingly.
They're going for the sniper. But it's not easy. This Sunray keeping XM alive. Do they have the damage? He's on the edge. He's got 9 health. He's gone. All right, they get this kill, but how much is it going to cost them? They'll end up losing Celery. Duraccio goes down. They'll look over at Zincu. This is a 4-position Timber, and they are trying to kill. The right clicks are coming through. They've got the Orchid. They'll get the kill. They'll take out the Timber. Now they're going to look over at XXS as well as Ame, but they're going to try and fight back. Nobu is here with some help from DY. As XXS goes down to the ground, comes back up, goes after Tofu's Soul Assumption, but there's the fear, the root, the kill, and a good defense there for the side of Gaming Gladiators.
Okay, so
Ball Lightning looking for more. Getting pulled by
look at that Aegis timer.
Wild Wing Ripper. Uh-oh.
It's done.
Yeah, it's done. Quinn not getting this kill, though.
He's been there before, you know, he had the same exact situation. He's like, yeah, I'm not killing this Faceless Void, let's just chill. Go back. Overall, it looked super good for Extreme Gaming. Like, after that fight, this fight in particular, they cleaned up. Like the fact that Phoenix managed to survive, also the fact that Visage survived, but then they stuck around a little bit too long and they got punished for it. Right? They didn't have time zone anymore, they didn't have their ultimates, they didn't have the egg. They stuck around. Okay, you take the side, and that's what you came for, so you're still happy for sure, but they did suffer some caution. Some deaths in the end.
5 HP. Another Tormy taken. Quinn getting that shard, so they'll have that upgraded overload. And we're still sitting pretty tight here. As Blink Dagger now finished for Tofu. Lotus picked up for Timbersaw. And Phoenix gonna go and finish a Glimmer Cape. So now just holding on to the casual plate mail.
It's pretty good. Like, he decided not to finish Shivas in the end. I think the main reason why he decided that was because of the egg off. So yeah, buying some save item or a Glimmer-esque item probably makes more sense. You know that the Storm Spirit will be jumping you. So.
Let's see what they can get done here. Roche potentially back up in a minute and 5 seconds. But let's see.
Yeah, he's got
it. Is.
They've got the AC, and before Razor even finished off Butterfly.
In him getting it loses a lot before it's even there. Ace is in a bit of a precarious position, and Timber Chain all the way across. Time dilation, Icarus dive, going for the fear, has the Sunray. Familiars are here. They will have the lockdown, but do they have the damage? They've got some help from Tofu. Can he get the disruption off? Yes, he can. That'll avoid the assassinate, but the bear's going to be dead, and so will Ace.
Yeah, they
disruption not enough.
Yeah. They can wait for the IO now. There is no Lone Druid. They know the relocate is going to come back, so this might be another freebie.
Uh-oh. Might be and will be. Oh, Tofu. Yeah, 3 heroes without buyback.
He tried to save him. He tried to move in so that there's a tether target. It's like the worst save your bro syndrome, you know? And the throne, they're going for tier 4s.
There's a buyback available on Tofu, and he's going to use it. The ball lighting in. They've got the Vortex. It's going to be onto the Sniper. The Lotus Orb is there. They've got the Round of Atos on a Quinn. They'll go to the BKB. And he'll have to ball lightning and keep his distance. There's still time zone, and there is still supernova. These tier 4s are starting to get low. Well, one's dead, and the other one's about to be gone. BKB no longer available for Quinn, so he needs to be careful. They'll still focus the throne. They've got Ratio and Tofu off to the side. Quinn's going to end up dead. He's got buyback. They'll use it. And Gleipnir immediately purged off thanks to this Lotus Orb. The Timber Chain away, getting out of the static click. They'll go after Quinn. They've got themselves a second kill on him in just a moment, but he ball lightnings back in. Doesn't matter, the throne is dead. And Extreme take game number 1.
Yeah, XXS, he just had that throne in his vision. Literally just right-click it throughout that fight. He didn't care about anything else or anyone else. Nicely done by Extreme Gaming. Like, even though the laning stage didn't go that great for them, like, let's be honest, it was pretty much devastating laning stage. Like, your Lone Druid had more denies than Ame had CS 2 times. Like, he had 40 denies when Void had like 20 CS. Your Visage as well was feeding, but they managed to, you know, combine themselves and just play as 5. Gaming Gladiators, they didn't have an answer.
Yeah, Extreme, they brought it together at around the 15-minute mark. They had a good fight by their Tier 2 tower, and they ultimately take the game. And, well, to break it down further, we've got the panel. Take it away.
Thank you very much, B-Cup and Lizard. A lot to break down with this first game of the series. And I want to start with the Timber Saw, mostly because at the end of that game, the net worth was fairly even between the teams, with still the tricore of the side of Gaming Gladiators very heavy on top in the net worth. But Timber Saw, he was creeping up there, Lacoste. This position for Timber Saw, you said, is new tech around the block. I'm assuming we're going to see it a lot more.
Oh, for sure. And I like the pairing of this one with Visage. Something that they try to do is fight back against IO Razor instead of fleeing back, because Visage, you know, he doesn't have many opportunities to run away once you get on top of him. So they try to square up and get the damage done. And I like that this improved thing on his shredder, the relatively new facet that allows you to slow people down for 1 second, and it deals insane amount of damage as well. You also have quite an unlimited mana. I thought he might go for the auras in this one, but it's Jin-Q, so he's gonna be super greedy, pretty much Shiva's as his first item, and then going for the Lotus Orb. But yeah, it was more about stopping the healing. We've seen Sniper with Scotty, which is a bit unconventional item build, and you can talk us through this team fight, because it was very impressive that Phoenix did survive.
Yeah, Phoenix getting his eggs off this game was very impressive, because this team fight here, obviously it could have gone very differently for XG if this egg hadn't come off in the last minute, because they do kill off the Visage here, and if they didn't have that backline range damage plus stun coming from the Phoenix, it could have been devastating. But this wasn't the only egg that salvaged the game for XG. In the mid lane, when Gaimin made their smoke on the Sniper, XG reacted so well. They brought in Visage and Phoenix, and that Phoenix egg lived 1 hit away again, and they managed to get so much comeback gold, which turned the game for them. So this is a really incredible performance from DY here.
Yeah, that was the type of play, though, from Gaimin that at like 30 minutes into the game, you know, Quinn, he already jumped kill Sniper. He then jumping again to go for a Phoenix, and the Phoenix then pops and gets the kill. Like, I think with this type of draft from Gaming, getting the 1 pick and resetting is good to then go again as full strength. To try and play for that extra little bit of advantage is what Extreme want. Like we've already said during the draft, like they are, you know, 2 or 3 good siege defenses away from bringing their draft to life, and you know, 13 minutes we're already entertaining 1 fatal mistake from Gaming, and then later Extreme have the confidence, of course, to make their own moves with the eggs that we were mentioning as well from Effie and Lacoste. Like it becomes a little bit too easy for Extreme to play this game, because after how good the lanes were, Gaming, their first move failed, and then they were too afraid to cross the river. Like they had top net worth on Razor Lone Druid, but after that 1 blunder, they weren't going, guys, we can do it, because in the back of their minds it's like, we can't do it, because can we kill an egg? Can we fight into the time zone? Can we fight into a Sniper who we can't really find, as we don't have the perfect jump for backline outside of course Storm? So I think a lot of concerns got put into Gaming, self-inflicted.
But the way that you're describing that almost seems like Gaming at that stage of the game almost was playing to not lose, is how we call that, when you're not playing to win, basically.
Yeah, I mean, they had the confidence based on their early shot calling, and then whoever was the shot caller, I'm assuming maybe Quinn, he then felt that doubt in him, or as a team, that they then kind of went for a plan B. And I think with this type of lineup, as soon as you hit plan B, that needs to be like 35, 40 minutes into the game, once you've already got like at least decent gold from taking towers. If you're already second guessing yourself after a 30-minute fight where you haven't really taken tier 1s with this type of lineup, it is Extreme's game to win. Yeah,
because Lacoste, you said earlier on, before the game started, after the draft, that Gaming, they will, if they win, they'll do it before minute 25. Like that was their power spike.
Yeah, 25-30. They were unable to close out the game. The game was already shifting. That one like bad fight when they were trying to invade the part of the map, the southern part of the map, and they were unable to get. I think they got team wiped in that one. This was pretty much the beginning of the end. You can't feed away that many kills with a lineup like this. And both of these drafts, they didn't have any stuns, basically, so the way they try to itemize was get the Globson on. Everybody pretty much had it. Sniper did go for Gleipnir as well. You had Visage with Rod of Atos, Razor, and then you also had the Lone Druid, so they try to set things up. This is the strongest item in Dota right now. It feels very good for farming. It gives you HP, makes you super tanky, and also the AoE route to stop the TPs, just set up for any kind of a spell, feels really good.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Lone Druid as a hero at the moment. I'm not impressed by it when I've seen it. I'm not impressed by it in high tier pubs when I see it either. And this is a game where Lone Druid had a billion CS and a billion denies and still couldn't translate it into anything. When you're that far ahead off of lane and you don't show the same kind of dominance that the other team's offlaner does with a worse lane than you, then maybe you should reconsider that hero. I do respect that they tried to make it work, but Visage, who had an abysmal laning stage, joins one fight, gets a couple of comeback kills, and suddenly Visage takes over the entire map. Your Lone Druid, who dominated the early game, couldn't cross the river, couldn't turn it into anything. So I just have to say that I do have a lot of criticisms regarding that hero in particular.
Yeah, and there's one thing you said during the draft as well, Effie. You talked about XM's hero pool, and how oftentimes he gets the overall last pick or a pick later on in the draft, apart from when one of his core heroes was still in, like this time, Sniper, first pick for the team. It delivered. Is that something that you want to see different in the next game? Because it felt like he just had a stellar game.
Yeah, I mean, XM is a hero specialist. Like, his snipers, his SFs, his razors, his vipers, his DPs, these are heroes that he's not afraid to first pick. And when he does, it's a bit scary. I mean, they did see that first pick sniper. They picked the Storm to counter it, but it still popped off entirely. So maybe you do have to respect the sniper going into game 2. But I want to say, Shiver, I was telling you guys, I've seen this game before. I watched this game at ESL Malaysia 2023 when XM and Ame and XXS were all on Azure Ray. They also played versus Gaimin, who picked Lone Druid, who did the same thing. They ran down mid, they fed a fight mid, then XM turns the game with his one super farmed hero. So I feel like this entire game like replayed in my head.
It's
somehow.
also maybe a little bit mental, because for people that do remember that series, it was a best of 5 series, and it was the first grand finals, other than the TI grand finals, where Gaming Gladiators didn't just lose, they got reverse sweeped, and that is mental damage.
Oh, absolutely. But I've also seen this game, Dream League Season 22, not between these teams, but more about the picks coming out from Extreme Gaming, Faceless Void and Sniper. I remember us talking about how this could be potentially slow, but they make it work, especially now with supports being slightly more active compared to that time where they were picking Shadow Demons and Phoenixes, where they just needed to be static, but they made it work. And something to coming into the next series, they should definitely ban out this Sniper unless they want to pick it. I know that Tofu did play quite a lot of Sniper coming into Road to the International, maybe try to snatch it, but otherwise it has to go because it is a flex pick for Extreme Gaming.
What do you want to see, T? Because we're about to head into game number 2 of the series, and
the game
together. Yeah, but
I mean, like we've talked about like heroes not feeling good, this and that, but like when you see the plays that they're making, this is not a gaming that's like firing on cylinders, at least in this game. Because like this 13-minute dive that we're talking about being like a pivotal moment for them to lose confidence, Ace isn't even there. Like the Lone Druid who's got top net worth, 3 of their cores are top 3 net worth, trampling on their opponents by 2k on each core. Like they could bring like 18,000 gold to a fight. Instead, they bring like 2/3 of it. They don't bring everyone. It's like the whole point of like Lone Druid strategies, if you draft them, is to like amplify him, push behind, and go. They didn't do that, and they kind of just brought little numbers, and then after that, they fall apart. So it's like if you're drafting like this, we've seen them win multiple majors. They bring him to the fight. Yeah. In this game, they don't bring him to the fight. They fight without him, and then they expect him to do something when they've already kind of thrown the game before they get to play the game. So I think. There's like draft logic, this and that, but like this is not a gaming that's like utilizing their strengths. That allows them to win so many tournaments.
He was in that mid lane fight though, but later on
at the end of it was at the very end. They started the fight without him, and then he kind of joins like way too late. So it's they just need to play together, because that fight is like, if you watch that back, then I'm pretty sure they're talking about it. It's like if Ace is there in a better capacity, they're probably winning that fight, taking mid tower, and then the script that we're talking about probably comes to life. But it doesn't happen, and things fall apart.
Maybe in part also because of the hero pick that we might not be too big of a fan of. In the previous series, I'm going to bring that up because we highlighted 33 a lot, an offlane player as well, and he generally has a fairly similar style to Ace, and we saw him pop off Lacoste. So do you think that if he just gets different picks, everything will be fine? It was a pick issue?
Sort of. I was expecting a stun. Like this lineup didn't have any stuns, neither did they have on side of Extreme Gaming, so it kind of equalized. But I would definitely want this to be something that can, start a fight. Because Storm zipping in, it's not like he has infinite mana. Sure, you have Io to bail you out, give you some extra mana, but quite difficult. They were relying on snowballing out of the lane, which they did pretty well. This Lone Druid had quite a lot of advantage over Faceless Void. in the end, when you look at the score, Faceless Void didn't even die, because you know what? He's very vulnerable to any kind of stuns, any kind of silences. They did have silence, but that was mostly used on DY so that he doesn't get the egg off. A lot of these small things combined, especially the eggs popping off, like you need 2 extra hits, some nicely placed supernovas, plus also the sunray behind when it comes out. I think Gaimin, they're gonna, you know, probably pick something similar. They are gonna try to speed things up, but they're gonna do it better than in this game.
Yeah, I have no doubt that they are back on the drawing board right now to look at fixing things. And I want to touch on one more thing with the previous game before we fully focus on the next game. But it's a hero that personally I have sometimes a question mark with, especially when combined with another support that is the Shadow Demon in this case. But my question marks are with Io. And I heard that it was supposed to be really good, and I feel like it's like, meh. The healing got nerfed overall.
There's a lot of pieces that come crumbling down, right? Like,
yeah.
I was enabling Razor to farm, enabling him to play into what could be a very annoying lane of Visage plus Timbersaw, a lot of spam. So Io gave Razor life. Io brought Razor to the mid fight. But then, of course, like I said, with Ace not being there, then it falls down, and then it's like everything else falls apart. So it's like Io is still good hero. It still amps and does everything he needs to do, keeps Storm happy, keeps Razor happy. But you need everyone to be subscribed to the go fight, and obviously that kind of did. Like we said, just
didn't happen. All right.
But I can see Io easily still being not the hero of TI, but happily picked across TI.
Okay, maybe in combination with supports that's done.
Sure.
Potentially.
I mean, it sounds funny, but it's true, because Io is always going to be a very competitively viable hero, even with healing nerfed, because of Relocate. The spell really does change things, the threat of Relocate, the pressure that it applies even when it's not being used. But for Io to use Relocate successfully, the pressure needs to exist from his team on the side lanes, right? People need to be ready to set up for kills. They need to be ready to start a fight somewhere where Io and Razor are farming on the other side. And at some point, Gaimin just stopped crossing the river, and that threat did not exist because there were no situations for Io to TP into.
And Io always gets some loving, you know. Because
okay, where are we going?
no. I meant as indirect buffs. In terms of indirect buffs, you have Flag Bearer creep, so you're having more regen. Then the tower gives you regen. Then you pick up the lotuses. Very important when you play Io or against Io to steal it, because he's giving you that extra heal. And Io somehow always sneaks in when it really matters. This is the hero to pick up.
Okay, we'll see what happens in the next game of this series as we are moments away from getting the draft ready for you guys for Game 2. We already talked about how this could be easily fixed on the side of Gaming Gladiators. Slight adaptation here, slightly earlier joining of fights. Overall, the thing that we have seen them be very strong with in the most recent successful performances of gaming is when they are already explosive from the laning stage. Is that where we want our focus to be in the draft for the upcoming Game 2, Effie?
I think that there just need to be slight tweaks in the draft where their draft isn't one-dimensional to the point where if this falls off, we're done. Because that's what their draft felt like. They had this one strategy where no stuns, you're playing behind the lone druid, you're going to push down all towers after you stomp lanes. But when that didn't work out, there was no failsafe. So they just need a little bit more draft integrity and they'll be fine. Because the way they played that laning stage, that was classic GG. They completely demolished.
Yeah, it would also, I guess, when you think about Quinn getting his Storm Spirit against a Sniper naturally is going to be able to push Storm to the jungle relatively early, then look for ganks, and you want Quinn to be a bit more of a playmaker. You want your kind of all your pieces to align. So yeah, I don't think there's too much to really change for gaming. It really is just the small tweaks like Effie was mentioning.
Yeah, keep in mind. For this series, both of these teams are in Group A. There's 4 teams in Group A, and both Gaming Gladiators and Extreme Gaming already have one series win under their belts. They both went 2-0. Gaming against 1W and XG against Heroic. And this series in particular could then mean the difference between getting to choose your opponent and potentially not choosing your opponent. We'll of course see the remaining match still being played tomorrow, so that still has a little bit of impact there as well in Group A, but this could be a very important series. We'll see if Gaimin is able to tie it up or if Extreme will be taking this 2-0. We're in it, and we have Extreme on the dire side with first pick. They get Wind Ranger, Gaimin Radiant side this time around, and thinking about what to pick next. In terms of bans, we don't have the Viper ban, so they left a lot of options for Extreme still in the pool.
Yeah, and there's still Doom, that is a popular hero. There's still Furion, that's also a very popular hero. There could be a lot of directions that they take from here.
Wind Ranger, they use the opportunity now that the Shadow Demon has been banned out. I also want to see this hero played at different roles. It is one of the stronger carry heroes right now, but gaming, they are switching things up. But it also tells me they want to play this healing, they want to play the repair bots, Holy Locket, Mech Greaves, whatever you buy on Tinker, some Glimmer Cape, buy all these auras and try to speed things up. Against Wind Ranger, what I want to see, if this is going to be a carry Wind Ranger or a mid Wind Ranger, is some Crimson Buyer for the offlane.
Yeah, and that is going to probably come into play. But like once you pick Tinker, your offlane pool also pushes more towards the, you know, the Centaur type hero. I park myself here. I don't need my Tinker because realistically, when Tinker hits 6, he's off in the jungle. He's like farming the your ancient triangle very early. He's farming double stacks in jungle. Like he kind of wants to, you know, ditch the game as early as possible to then re-emerge with the auras that Lokos was mentioning.
Very true, because Tinker is a special support in that he wants level 12 as soon as he can. So he wants to be off farming for himself and playing for himself whenever he can, because at some point you can't really rely on porting to towers to join fights. You do need to be able to port to your creeps, especially if you're a game-in and you're going to play an aggressive push style strategy. So you do need a self-sustaining type of offlaner, but that's what they're famous for, right? Ace on his heroes, just, you know, give him a lane and he'll find his farm on the map.
Give me some real boring Underlord. Make me happy. I love Underlord. I do. It's
what a time to be alive, huh?
It's so boring, but like, you know, you look at him, you know, curvy, does his job, buys pipe, buys crimson. He buys the auras that the Tinker doesn't want to buy, then together, it's just...
The most contested heroes, you've already heard us mention it a bunch. Sniper, on any position, really. We've seen a lot of Enchantress, Naga Sirens already, but a lot of those are on the bans in this game in particular.
Yeah, I think Enchantress is a special case where I feel like the rate of her bans is because people want to play Furion, so they ban Enchantress, and the other team, when they see an Ent ban, they ban Furion. I feel like the Enchantress ban always comes before the Furion ban, because that's one of the hero's hardest counters on side lanes.
Draft-wise so far, again, first pick Windrunner has failed miserably for most teams. Extreme have won with it, but you need to respect the weaknesses of the hero. Like Tinker as a support will naturally be farming backwards as well. You go to your own jungle, which opens up opportunities for Windrunner to go from lane into the game as well, take fights, use twin game. Like whilst Tinker's farming, he's not really going to want to TP into a... Like he will TP in and throw down a march, but it's not the same as like quite a kill-heavy hero. So I'm hoping for Extreme to bring the Windrunner into the game a bit earlier than other teams have been doing.
She doesn't really have a stun, but it's semi-stun.
That's a root.
It's a root.
Against Windrun, that's quite nice. You run in, get rooted. Sorry, you don't get to play DOTA anymore. So yeah, nice. Sets up a lot of lanes as well for some aggression. Very, very strong laning hero. You can secure range creeps with Nova. You have Frostbite for Windrunner. Like, yeah.
Now is the question, what do you want to pair up with this Wind Ranger? Most likely from the safe lane, but also keep the flex open. Some Marcy, some Tusk that can come out. Just gives you quite a lot of damage. I think these are some of the strongest safe lanes if you want to pair it up with the Wind Ranger. Find a way how to give her more damage. We are in
I say give me
meta
both.
where
Give me both of them. Why not?
I was thinking the same.
Give me the Tusk and the Marcy.
And Mirana with the Solar Flare. Give me everything.
And Marcy is a really good hero in this case, because when you play versus Tinker, if you have a support Marcy with a BKB and the rebound cast range talent, just hunting this Tinker in fights, not letting him do his thing, that's going to be very, very valuable. So this Marcy is going to do a lot by way of addressing Tinker early on.
The reason why I like Marcy, I think for this particular game, it's still gonna depend, but the bodyguard or the sidekick, people have been theory crafting what's better. I think when you have most likely carry Wind Ranger, the internal cooldown on Marcy's bodyguard is 0.45, so every single time Wind Ranger attacks or when she gets attacked, you fight back with Marcy, so the heroes are gonna instantly die.
That's good, and it's like it's a lot of cheap damage, right? Marcy plus Rubik roaming the map, you're gonna have lockdown, catch, Windrunner can throw in a power shot, and then we're expecting the middle offlane to also have some type of setup, so there's ways to make moves, and gaming, they respect that. There's quite a lot of skirmishing being built into Extreme's lineup, and they counter that quite heavily. You've got the Kunkka, the Monkey King, good heroes, and then you get Viper, and life continues. But you know, Viper should, in theory, against Monkey or Kunkka mid lane, do very well. You're going to be able to just pressure them. I like the idea of gaming going for these heroes to deal with that pressure, but yeah, the Viper is going to delete one of them from the early game at least.
But that's a big deal, right? Because we talked about how Gaimin are kind of dependent on lane Snowball to outfight XG, or where they were in that game 1. And having a mid lane that's going to be secure regardless of the matchup, and then also buy auras for your team if you want a different kind of offlaner, a more versatile one, something potentially that blinks stuns instead.
I mean, technically they could still, we kind of feel about Monkey can just go carry, can go offlane. So the bans from Extreme will still need to respect the weaknesses of a mid Viper. You know, they ban out Prophet, but I can see a Quinn, you're getting Vipered, what do you want, boss?
But in theory, you could chase the Monkey King to the safe lane with Viper. Like, you could just throw it on XXS and have the Viper punish Monkey King.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't have last pick in the draft, though, so they aren't going to be able to follow in draft. But if they can pick a flex, but I guess then, yeah, if you can pick a flex offlane mid that can also do it, then you can continue that pressure on them. But they just went Mars instead, so yeah, Mars to offlane and Viper.
They needed a hero that can initiate a fight. When you have Viper lineup, it can be relatively slow, so they needed something. It's also going to be great against Monkey, finding him on the trees. In the lane, it's not as good against Monkey because you have Crystal Maiden plus Monkey paired up together, which means that you have stun, you have root mechanic, so you will need to play a bit more defensively, using the spear to push away Monkey King when they get on top of you.
But later on in the game, it's a great
good
tool.
for the game.
Yeah,
yes.
It's a really great tool because you can hunt this Monkey King in the tree line. Arena like breaks all trees. The Gaimin will lose vision of their teammates, right? They can try to throw in bodies in there, but it's a really annoying facet that they added to this Mars. Like, not being able to see what's happening in the arena, you don't really know how to react. Like, if you're a Tinker trying to throw marches, you can't really see the target that you need to Matrix if you're outside of the arena. Also, I love the synergy of just Viper Mars, right? Because Viper is a mid laner who buys auras. When your mid laner is the one that buys auras, buys the pipes, buys the mechs, buys the blade mails and whatnot, then you have this off laner who can just rush that flank and play initiation the whole game.
All right, so Gaming Gladiators, this is their 4th game, also for Extreme, of course. But they, out of the 20 heroes they played, only one is a do-over, which is the Kunkka, which is quite impressive, I think. For Extreme, also impressive. It's 18 heroes out of the 20 are unique. Pretty unusual, I'd say. But what do we feel about the Quinn? That's oh, you got a little bit frowny face there, T. Not really convinced.
I don't mind it. I think it does give Quinn the ability to potentially outplay XM in laning phase. Like, Dazzle's a very potent mid laner in certain matchups. My concern is after that, if Quinn doesn't demolish the mid lane, where is like their damage? You know, Tinker's going to farm some auras, but still try for levels. Crystal Maiden isn't going to really do anything into an arena, into a Marcy. Monkey King doesn't itemize to be too strong early. Like, you need like at least 1.5 items, 2 items. So I think there's a big, and again, Kunkka, a lot of control, sustainability, but no damage. So there is a window where Extreme just go, thank you, Quinn, nice attempt at Dazzle, but this is our game, right? And a lot of scaling is needed for gaming to feel good, I think.
Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead, Lucas.
I just wanted to say that I've seen something similar from the Chinese teams like 2 months ago, where they were buffing up Monkey King with Dazzle, Omni Knight. This way you're going to have Kunkka, you're going to have Tinker healing you up. So this Monkey King, he's going to go super ham, and this fits Duracio's playstyle, knowing that he has Grave behind him, knowing that he has a boat. So be careful about that one, because once he gets the Gleipnir, he's going to go pretty ham.
Yeah, I'm going to make a case for the Dazzle being great. I think that Gaimin have like a very... First of all, it gives you the ability to lane versus Viper, which not a lot of heroes can do. It gives you extra save versus like the Mars initiation, you know, with the Grave. And you're looking at these long fights that Gaimin are looking to take with the Rum buff, with the Tinker marches, with the Dazzle Graves, Dazzle heals coming out. A lot of these heroes on Gaimin are going to be unkillable. So the question for XG is, can they out DPS Gaimin's survivability early on? Because as the game progresses, that monkey will get fat.
We'll get an answer to that question right away. Together with our commentary team, it's B-Cop and Lizard.
Thank you very much. Coming into game number 2 here for Extreme against Gaming Gladiators. It's XM on that Viper, which he's been playing a decent amount this year. He's 14-3 this year with Viper. So it's been an exciting time for him on this hero. But Quinn going to the Dazzle. Should be exciting.
The Dazzle, yeah, like not really a hero that you see very often on mid lane right now. Even though he's played in pubs, like you can see some players experiment with him, just go fast tags. You know, it's really difficult to stop the death push when there's a Dazzle on the enemy side. Just constantly fighting, healing. A lot of damage is being dealt by him, and overall I like the... I've seen a couple of Blink Axe builds. I'm not even sure what the correct build is right now. I have to wait and see what Quinn does, but this hero has always been the lane dominator, right? And they want to make sure at least not to feed any first bloods. They smoke up a little bit late for the ward. It's not late, a little bit later, let's put it that way.
30 seconds to battle.
So I am looking at this Extreme Gaming lineup, and I was saying it to you that I thought it was going to be Xingqiu on the Marcy, just because we've seen him play those aggressive heroes that can kind of 4-core, but I think with the Dazzle last pick, that might have switched. I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, I'm not in the room with them, but it definitely made me think, all right, there's something, even one more thing that looks even better here for a Rubik that gets a little bit more priority in farm.
Well, I would say it's also about the lanes. They try to rep. Is gonna carry you. That's how I feel. And Dazzle, of course, as well, is very potent mid laner, but yeah, let's see. I think he can do very well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the matchup come through in X. 14-3 in his last 17 games on this Viper. That is a very high win rate, and that's his total year stats, including a game he played this Viper earlier today.
Yeah, but how many times did he play versus Dazzle?
I don't have that for you right off the bat. I'll
tell you. I'll take a guess and say it's 0 versus him on the mid lane. At least it's possible that he did, but very unlikely.
So if we've taken some damage here to the Monkey King of Dyrachia, just trying to move forward and looking for that level 2. Not getting that level 2 just yet. Marcy still level 1 up top with Ame here. There they finally go, and ready to see what Tinker will bring us as he gets disposed for a second. The torrent won't land, but no real danger felt.
This isn't truly a kill lane from Ace and Tofu. Like, you might be able to get a kill, but I feel like it will only happen if you're answering the aggression, not if you are the ones instigating it.
Right.
On the other side, on the other lane, like this Rubik and Mars, a lot of kill potential, same with the Crystal Maiden and Monkey. A kill can happen at any moment come level 3. Like, from level 3 it's very possible.
Look at how far forward Quinn's looking at playing at 8. Well, now he's backed off a little bit, but he was under the tier 1 tower mid.
That's your Dazzle experience, my friend.
Yeah.
Run away from the poison touch under the tier 2 tower while he chases you. And you can see a little difference in the CS already. 15-5 on Dazzle, 10 on XM's Viper.
Torrent lands onto Ame. Is there a point where the Viper just out CS's in this lane?
No. There isn't a point in which he makes a comeback, if that's what you're asking. Like, Dazzle is too annoying.
Right.
By the way, this is coming from someone that didn't see this matchup in the last 3 years at least. No, things have changed. And I have seen Dazzles and Vipers in mid lane, but I don't think the matchup has changed drastically. As long as you get hit a couple of times on Viper, you just gotta run. Look at this, like he might even die here. Mid lane?
This is rough. TP in, committed there, DY. Not a fast enough TP, but they go to the Blood Grenade and they're gonna rebound and try and get some speed to get this kill on a Quinn. And the right clicks are not gonna be enough just yet, but finally, even with that defense matrix, they'll get that first kill, and they're gonna dive under the tower for Tofu. The laser is there, but DY hitting away. Nobody else coming towards mid just yet, but finally Sour's gonna start that TP. They've got the machines down, the TP is stopped. And Tofu, he's gonna die, and this is a dive that gets a double kill here for XM.
Dude, that tower just lost vision on XM in the last second, and he didn't hit him twice.
Then he dies to the tier 2. Get full health, full mana back.
I mean, that's super worth it. And such a beautiful comeback for him, by the way, because he was having the worst lane. And this is like one of those best things that you can hope for when you're getting pummeled in the lane. Like, you can hope that they overcommit, dive, your support TPs, and suddenly you're back.
The thing there was DY's rebound not meant to jump on top of that Dazzle, more so just to give that 4-second speed boost for XM to catch up.
Let's not give DY any excuse.
Oh, I'm giving him an out. I tried. Come on, man.
No. That rebound was definitely some mess up right there. Well,
I tried to give him an out.
No.
Oh, man. So, you know, even
nice
with that...
attempt. How much... What's the PayPal again?
I don't know, but if anybody wants me to make those plays look good, I got you. I'll back you up any day of the week, Lizard. I'll say it.
Dude, I don't have enough money for you to back all my bad plays up. Anyways, mid lane still back to where it was actually. Quinn just came back. The levels are now same, even, but he's still dominating the CS. So XM still kind of suffering.
XM, yeah, he's happy he got those kills, but at the same time, it's you know, still this rough lane. DY coming over again. Tofu nearby. They aren't gonna make the jump on anything just yet.
They're really helping this Viper a lot. Like, he just came in and gave him a tango and moved away, even though your Wind Ranger is your true carry, and she might get gone on top. She's alone.
Yeah, she is. X into the Torrent. They've got machines down, and that will be a hit coming through from that Tidebringer. And almost getting the kill on Ame, but still able to survive. Has that wand, popped it. Okay. Team's sitting pretty even. They did get the kill, though, while that was happening over top on a Xingqiu. He's going to be stuck at level 3. He's going into the Arcane Boots, just trying to get anything he can. And they're going to TP up XM. DY's here with the rebound. They've got the Dispose. XM uses that Viper Strike, and then we'll get this kill onto the Kunkka.
That deny out of spite just before he dies, you know. One more thing that I can do of value before I die. Yeah, you know, it's all about these small little things, efficiency.
Now I feel like you're helping the Kunkka out. You're saying it's efficiency on the last time.
Look. That was actually useful, you know.
Yeah.
Still pretty bad that he dies, but no way he survives that in that go.
Wisdom Runes, by the way, 1 apiece, so nobody stealing it like we saw in games past. But things pretty quiet. Game 1, it started to pop off at around the 15-minute mark. As Tofu now, he's going to be the one in trouble. They've got that Viper Strike. The laser's there. They've got the break. Quinn going to help out. Telekinesis pulling him back. But they'll throw over the Poison Touch. Tofu even staying nearby. And they'll use the Wukongs on Ahame, who's only level 5. They get the kill on a Xingqiu. DY walking his way over, but XM now running away. So he's going to die. It hits Tofu for the moment. The right click's coming into the Quinn. Durachio's in, but Ame still looking to go. He's got a power shot ready in a second. Shackle in 5. There's the defense matrix. Gets up out of the high ground, jumps into the tree, and will escape. But a little bit of a trade going down over mid with everybody showing up.
Yeah, XM successfully stood his ground and they couldn't go through him. Like, 3 supports could not reach Monkey King or his Wukong command just because of XM. And he played that very bravely, I should say. And he took down Celery in the process as well.
Phase Boots finished off for the Mars. XM going into that Dragonlance. He's got 1100 gold saved up. They have smoked. They are looking towards top as Dyrachyo. While they're looking top, they're losing bottom. They lose this Monkey King, and it's Ame who gets the kill with that ult.
Yeah, and let's see if they can convert this into a tier 1 push on bot lane. Because I feel like you're very happy if you're XG. Like, you just killed the Monkey King and you're taking towers away from Tinker. Like, one thing that is always really nice is preventing him from having any good outposts to defend and slow the game up. Like, it's so annoying, man. Like, I've been spamming 12 games a day in the last month. I've been enjoying Dota. Every time I see a Tinker, I want to just exit the goddamn game. Because, like, if he's competent, he just defends the game he defends his side for so long and he finds so much farm. When you're playing versus some Polylocket Reeves, Tinker.
It's not fun to play against, but at least for right now, for the Tinker haters, he doesn't really have a lot of net worth.
Yeah, he has been nerfed, like recently a little bit, so
right.
It's easier to play against him.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Just a touch. Meanwhile, Ace getting that top tier 1 tower, so not the combination and the parlay that Extreme got going bottom, getting Dyrachyo and getting the tower and getting some proper positioning. But the Viper Strike's going to be thrown over. They got the rebound. They will kill off Celery. XM now on a killing spree, and he's 5-1.
Yeah, one thing that has been a problem in game 1, I would say, for GG, and in game 2 as well, is they just have this greedy style of a position 4 and 5. They're constantly waiting for something, you know, they can't make these moves. Meanwhile, like XG, even just Marcy is enough.
Yeah.
Your Tinker and Crystal Maiden, CM maybe, but she needs more. Meanwhile, Tinker is just like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to fight, I'm farming. Recurring theme from game 1.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, what's the timing here for gaming?
It's the Ags on Daz. I really think that's changing things. Or should change things quite a lot. Like, you get the Ags on Dazzle and you get the Blade Mail on Kunkka and you're kinda ready to make things happen. Right. We'll see though, because both sides will have something at that point. You'll have most likely a Blink Dagger on Mars and he'll be ready to fight as well.
Right. Let's see if that timing, when that timing comes, if they can accomplish what they want with him. They'll go to the X, and they will steal the Ghost Ship. Yeah, so this is going to be thrown over. They've got the freezing field on top of XM, but XM just walks away. There's the Blood Grenade, Spear lands, Celery on the edge of this arena. That is rough for the Crystal Maiden. They dropped a lot there to try and get this kill on XM.
Lawrence, thank you.
He's not living here.
Yeah, very nicely done by Ace, by the way. He caught
They
it.
want to go for XM. Primal Spring, but now they've got the rebound. That's going to be enough speed for XM to get away from this. Dispose Dyrachyo onto the tower? Oh no! They lose the Monkey King. They're trying to play aggressive and they're going to lose their heroes. They'll bring in Quinn and Celery to try and stop them from getting the kill here on Ace. They lose DY, so they will save Kunkka. But again, Dyrachyo under the tier 1 tower, and it's another rebound save for DY.
Yeah, he's like, grave me, Quinn, please grave me. And then you click on your Dazzle and he's 404, grave not found.
Oh no.
Not possible. Yeah, I mean, he's a core Dazzle, so usually it does it do be like this. You don't get the grave, you want to max out your farming speed and damage. But when you're playing with the Monkey King, that grave can be so crucial.
Q. Ooh, alright. Well, they were trying to get this kill onto the Rubik, but the Primal Spring coming from Xingqiu. He's up in the trees and down again. They'll get the kill. Duraccio back-to-back deaths. Oh dear.
They're forcing things, like Quinn is 17 gold away from Axe. They're getting caught out, like this isn't optimal for gaming gladiators, let's put it that way. There's a blink on Mars and Rubik jumping across the trees, so the map feels a little bit claustrophobic for GG now.
Yeah, it's fallen away from him.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
There's that Axe timing. Maybe would have wanted it a little bit quicker. But we'll see. Soeri nearby. Tinker's here too. Sees Xingqiu for a moment, but he's able to just really walk away. He's got Aether Lens soon. About 700 gold. They'll meet each other in the trees. Interesting seeing you here.
Xingqiu is still playing. I swear, if there is one carry that would follow him until like tier 2, that's Duraccio. You know, like you can expect him to actually continue that chase. But yeah, we'll see. Like he's got his Echo Saber going for that Dezo, so he wants to be as potent in these early teamfights as possible on Monkey King, because he doesn't need any save items, he doesn't need a BKB or anything like that. He's got a grave. Now he's got it, at least Quinn has leveled the grave.
Xingqiu, again, just mid. He's really enjoying this tree dance, by the way. They're going to find Quinn. They've got the spear, and the power shot gets the kill. The Ghost Ship is in. The Wukong's command is through, and Xingqiu trying to maybe steal that Wukong's. He'll hold on to the tree dance for the moment.
It's still a fantastic spell to keep, you know, like taking a Ghost Ship or something is nice, but just having the tree dance allows for all of this to happen. He's creating so much chaos in the game.
Yeah, Xingqiu playing a little bit of Black Myth Wukong in this one. With his tree dance.
Are scanning.
And now, he gets Ghost Ship anyway. Tree dance was gonna run out. 20, 30 seconds later, he just like, all right, I'll just take Ghost Ship anyway.
That's specifically because Ace has this level 1 torrent that he could use at any given point, you know, just use it so that he cannot steal, but I guess he just didn't expect it.
So they've got Ghost Ship to work with.
By the way, just check the Rubik's build.
The Aether Lens, we're gonna go blink nullifier.
That's it. All you need, you're playing into a Tinker, all you need is a Nully, get it. Makes sense. He's gonna struggle farming it, but you never know. Maybe it will happen.
Yeah, not the easiest to farm. Maybe he would have liked a farming spell, but he'll hold on to Ghost Ship. Something you could throw into the arena, so if they do see anybody.
Yeah, you can throw the ward into arena as well, right? Like if you have an ops and you get. I'm speaking about GG and how they fight against it. Like if you see that, if you can't see your allies, you can pop the ward inside. I feel like there are a couple of position 4 and 5s that do that regardless. Accelerate.
In trouble, and Ghost Ship used, as he knew he was stealing something that will be pretty good here from the Crystal Maiden. And Frostbite at level 4 is one of those spells that is going to be pretty solid for you.
And it's one of the best spells to, like, anything he steals this game, I feel like I'll say it's one of the best spells, you know? Like, Frostbite is just amazing. It's just so good with Arcane Supremacy as well. You can cast it on...
Oh, no. Viper Strike, the damage, the right clicks. All right, TP out. Oi. That was close. That was really close. I think he ticked down to like 50 health.
Radiant's top
Maybe
tower
even
is
less.
XM? He top. Now, do they just want a tier 2 or is he waiting for some, maybe a rush attempt? That's my question. Let's see. Kunkka is deeping in.
Not quite finding anything, and they've got wards down here.
Oh, that
just have
frostbite.
not been taken out. The frostbite from a distance. There's the spear. Kunkka in trouble. They're going to rebound in. They go to the arena. They've got themselves the shallow grave, but the damage coming in from the Windrunner is going to be too much for them to handle. Tofu, Quinn, and Ace are all dead. Wukong's command is not going to command anybody on the side of Extreme Gaming, and it's a 4-hero loss for Gaming Gladiators.
That's
And Ame tipping Dyrachyo as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a yikes right there. Tipping him, making some carry tier lists as well. This man has no mercy. But like everything that's happening here, I would go back to the mid lane and Dazzle not being able to kill them early on. You know, when he dies, when they get the double kill on XM instead of Dazzle, that completely pushes the game in the wrong direction. And this Dazzle right now, instead of being this, the way you imagine Dazzle is you buy the antagonists very fast because you bully the mid lane, and then you just constantly rotate across the map with the axe. Before they have any items, they can't deal with you. However, he got it a little bit too late. They took a couple of fights that they already lost, and the Aghanim's, it lost, like the power spike is gone. The timing is gone. And now they need a BKB on top of that. It's always waiting for that one extra item. Unfortunately for Gaming Gladiators.
Yeah, they're always a step behind and timing too short. We'll have to see if there's an answer at the moment, because right now, you know, Ame's got that BKB, he's got that Gleipnir, they have the control. Viper feels so brutal to go up against at the moment. And yeah, you're trying to buy some time, you're trying to get Queen into his own BKB, you're gonna get that Ags here for the Kunkka, and a BKB and a Detto for Monkey King, but time is of the essence, and I don't know how much more they've got of it.
Well, they do have heroes that, like we said before, defend well, split push well, so you can play around that. Like you have March of the Machines, you also have Monkey King, who should be able, at least on paper, to find farm where most carries wouldn't be able to. I'm not that worried that the game will end very soon, but they're not in a good position.
So Aegis is gonna go the way of Extreme, picked up by XM after a short delay. Let's see how this all goes down as they're looking to potentially push bottom. Viper looking for that Hurricane Pike, delaying the BKB, doesn't exactly need it at the moment. They feel way too strong for them to really...
Famous last words.
Yeah.
I feel too strong, I don't need BKB. Gets killed, okay, I'm changing to BKB. But yeah, I completely agree. He's in a pretty damn strong spot right now, so... He's got Manta already to get rid of and dispel some of the spells at least. He doesn't necessarily have to buy that BKB immediately after.
Dire's top tower is under
Yules. Got Rebuke on the low ground, but there's the arena coming down the steps, looking for the TP. There's the spear, never happening. And we'll steal Frostbite again as Ame gets the last hit with that power shot, and he's wicked sick.
Yeah, just secure that last hit, you know. Secure the kill. Crystal Maiden, he at least forced the arena out with the TP, so that's something. It helps out your teammates a little bit. And one item that I really didn't talk about at all is Yules on XXS. Like, this is such a nice pickup when you're expecting a game in which you have to catch people and chase them. Like having Blink Yules secures almost any pick-off. And it's good versus Tinker as well, of course. And Kunkka too, for X marks the spot.
Tier 2 will fall. Let's see. I'm still waiting to see if they can fight one back, but now that they've got the BKB coming through for Quinn, Ags at the same time for Kunkka in 2 seconds. They've got a mech to work with. Is this the timing for them, or do they want to wait for Dyrachyo to also have his BKB?
Overall, I think this should be the time to at least try to get a pick off of some sorts, but it looks like Quinn is being chased instead.
Yeah, 4 staff, then the rebound, the speed up, and now they go to the poison touch. That's responded with a Viper Strike. The Frostbite, the BKB, the turnaround, but the damage from XM is going to be too much. The stolen Ghost Ship flies through from XinQ. They'll get that kill into the Rubik. They'll take out one. The Primal Spring into the back lines, looking over at XXS. However, it's not looking like Extreme want to go in just yet.
Yeah, no.
You still have Arena and Blink.
XM is going back for the that region disappears in front of him, so he doesn't have really mana to work with on Viper. By the way, that fight, mid lane ace, that thought.
Yeah, spear, but he's got EX. However, it's not gonna matter with that Yules. It's really well done, and now they'll have to dispose. They'll have the control. They'll get this kill. Ahame doing his best chance at doing carry participation by throwing the power shot to get the kill. And now they've got the arena on the Quinn as well as Tofu. They'll get the spear, they've got the root, they have the Gleipnir, they'll get the kill on a bolt. They lose XXS, but it doesn't quite matter. Ame goes in, looking over at Celery, pops the BKB. Triple kill here for the Windrunner. And they are in the base. 20-7, 10,000 net worth lead.
Honestly, it's either Gaming Gladiators being a little bit sleepy or Extreme Gaming are just way too good at this game at the moment. XM gonna lose his Aegis, just so he respawns full mana, full HP. But they're just playing Gaming Gladiators like that. Blink, Yules as well from XXS. He's been the leading force for his team in Game 1 and now in Game 2 as well.
Get the melee racks, they'll back off of this. And Roche, start thinking about it, even though the Aegis just expired, just kind of setting up. You know, it's about 3.5 minutes away, if not, you know, give or take. More give than take.
Give a bit more.
Yeah. But you start thinking about how you maybe want to close out the game, right? You know the timing around where Roche should spawn, where you kind of want to be at that point, especially when you're on 13,000. You kind of make those plans, and Tofu in trouble. Defense Matrix, however, XXS and XinQ backing away.
I like that you're the long-term kind of a planner, you know? Like instantly planning. Smoke up.
Gotta put it in my date book, you know?
That's what you do on first date. So, we're gonna have 3 kids. You're one of those guys.
Dire are scanning.
Celery, scouted.
It's not fair. XinQ's playing Black Myth Rubik over here, and meanwhile they've got the arena down. They get the kill to Quinn to Celery. It's gonna be Ame with another double kill. He's godlike. And they will throw that Ghost Ship over. They get the kill to XXS. It's gonna be another Ghost Ship that lands. They've got the dispose. They're still working in the Wukong's command. They'll take out Dyrachyo. 3 heroes dead. The TP attempt from Tofu, and he escapes the grasp of Extreme Gaming as it's a 3-for-1 once again.
Yeah, that was such a good reconnaissance mission by XinQ. You know, he jumps across the trees, shows everyone, creates just enough time for XXX to as well jump in, gets 2 of them in the arena. The Wukong's command and Celery's ulti, they weren't bad, like Freezing Field, but they're just a little bit too far behind at this point for just good to be enough. Like, they have to, even if they play these fights perfectly, and if it's them initiating, it's still not easy for them to win it. Like, they're still probably going to lose a fight, being 15k behind with these heroes.
It's just a little bit lacking in the fight, even though things are looking like they're possible. But it's only 2% possible.
Is it only 2%?
DOTA Plus says 2%, my favorite milk. 2% milk. 98% for Extreme, and I don't think it's impossible. Again, I do think Gaming Gladiators are good enough to pull it back, but it's going to be really rough.
Yeah, it's hard. Just looking at the items that they've got and what they're about to complete, like this AC on Mars, like full Daedalus going into Satanic on Wind Ranger, you know, there's just too much on their side. At the same time,
has been denied.
like, it's possible, but it's all on the Raj. It's all on the Monkey King. Like, they have to, like, the way I see it, Dazzle and Kunkka, they kind of serve the same purpose. Delay the fight and make your main core as tanky as possible. Like, okay, Dazzle does deal a lot of damage, but it's not like some other playmaker from the mid lane.
Dire are scanning.
Yeah, definitely not. We've been seeing, you know, some players struggle when they don't have a playmaker mid, and as you see here, a wolf in their natural habitat. They're just in the snow. I don't know how this has happened.
Not to my screen, by the way.
Oh,
Q jumps in.
Cute. Jumping in, Quinn's dead on his screen immediately, and they're gonna try and take a shovel to Celery and dig him out of that snow. But he gets up onto the high ground. He's fine. Can't say the same for the Dazzle, though.
It's just so simple for them. They go in and Wind Ranger, you just need 2 heroes to blow up anyone. And now she's got DD as well, so bye-bye tier 3s on the bottom lane. Dazzle does have buyback and he's up in 20.
And they hold their high ground. 16,000 net worth lead here for the side of Extreme Gaming. And that is going to be a torrent landing from Xingqiu on 2 heroes that opens up this fight. With the arena there, they get the kill to Tofu and Celery. They'll take the tier 3. Those 2 heroes don't have buyback. Dazzle's back up, but your bottom set of racks are gone. The mid set of racks are also gone. And they will torrent up the Kunkka. They land the Viper Strike. That shallow grave, well, it's shallow. And how long can you last in a grave that's shallow? They'll dig it deeper for him. They'll kill him off. They'll get the kill to Queen and Ace, and it's a 2-0 for Extreme Gaming as they call GG on the side of Gaming Gladiators.
Like, when we got the schedule and when I saw our games, I didn't expect this series to be so damn one-sided. I know that Extreme Gaming are in good form and I know that they've been playing really damn well recently, but I personally expected way more from GG.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it felt like this should have been a 1-1 almost guaranteed, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I expected. Then again, I feel like Gaming Gladiators, they did experiment quite a lot with the 2 drafts that they've had. Like, these aren't the drafts, like that first one with